Hey, it's Miss Flugman, and I wanted to now show some strategies for division. Um, One of the strategies that we taught the kids is what we nicknamed popcorn. The popcorn strategy is extremely similar to long division that we learned in school. The only difference that I can really see is that instead of bringing the numbers down after you subtract, we actually are popping the numbers up, and that's why we call it popcorn. You're popping it up. And the reason why we do that is because the very first strategy that we do is called fair share. And it's using base 10 blocks and using manipulatives, and they basically are representing numbers with those base 10 blocks. And then they are separating them into however many groups needed. Like if it's divided by 3 here, it would be like into 3 groups. And there are some questions that go along with that strategy that incorporate, or I should say, actually move right into the popcorn strategy. And when we pop the numbers up, it's like saying how many more tens or how many tens do we have left? Or if we pop this number, how many ones do we have left? And so that's why we do that. Because when you bring it down, you kind of lose track of what place you're actually working in. And again, our standard is based on place value. So I'm going to show you how to do the popcorn strategy. Your kids have been doing this strategy for a couple weeks now. And again, just like with the box method for multiplication, it's not the strategy that is throwing them off. It's actually the multiplication facts. They just have not mastered those multiplication facts. So when they're trying to do division, it's just the opposite. And we generally don't say what's 7 divided by 3 or what's 785 divided by 3, or we usually are saying, what do I multiply by 3 to get close to 7 without going over? So they're, again, needing to know multiplication to solve these problems. So, like I said, the first thing that we do is we're looking at what we're going to be multiplying by 3. So we teach the kids, like if you don't know your 3 facts, like you don't know your multiplication facts of what you're going to multiply by 3 to get what, we say you need to build towers. And what that is these little dots right here. And it's just an easy way for them to make sure they know all the numbers, all the multiples of 3 basically. So they start off with, well, I got 3 dots, and then they'll go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure that looks like a 9. 10, 11, 12. And if they know their facts, then they'll be a lot easier. They can be like, okay, 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 7 is 21, 3 times 8 is 24. And this is just like a little area over here for them to have something to fall back on in case they're sitting here trying to do their multiplication division and they forget some of their facts. It's just somewhere to have it on their paper to help them out. So now I'm going to ask myself, 3 times what is going to get close to 7 without going over? So either you know your facts and you know it's going to be 3 times 2, or you can look over here and be like, all right, what number is close to 7 without going over? Oh, it's 6. And I'm going to count up my towers, 1, 2. So they're going to be like, all right, 3 times 2 is 6. And just like we were taught, this is the part where you subtract. So 7 minus 6 is 1. And so what we did in school is we brought this 8 down. The only difference is instead of bringing that 8 down, I am popping that 1 up. So now I'm going, okay, 3 times what is going to get me close to 18? So I can look back over at my towers if I don't know my facts, and I'm like, oh, there's 18 right there. So 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 times 6 is 18. And then when I subtract, I get 0. So I have nothing to pop up over here. So now I'm just looking at 3 times 5. 3 times what is going to equal 5 or close to 5 without going over? Well, if I do 6, that's too much, so it has to be 3. So that's just 3 times 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. And then when I subtract, I get 2. I always tell them, if you can't pop it up anywhere, then that is your remainder. So the answer to 785 divided by 3 is 261 remainder 2. And that is what we call the popcorn strategy.